Good afternoon, race fans. Welcome to Larry King Law's Langley Speedway for Bojangles Bow Time qualifying. It is Smiley's heating and cooling race night. Adam Welbrock in the tower with you. Brian White will be joining us in a moment. The Hunzer Cycle Factory HRKC Pro Wing Champ cards just were on the racetrack. Right now it is John Snyder with the quickest time, the 06 at a 22.869 leads the field. Timmy Waltrip right now scored second at a 23.30. Third place right now, Jeffrey Johnson, 23.37. Fourth place is Jimmy Carr, 23.548. 23.945 is David Phelps in P5. And the 23.947, Billy Daly, right now scored in the seventh spot is Mackenzie Holloway at a 24.083. Those are the 7 carts that we've had take a time. And it looks as though those will be the only 7 carts to do so in this session. Right now, Ryan Hudgens, Mark Roberts, and Colin Roberts not taking a lap under this session. Gorgeous night here in Hampton, Virginia right now. A little bit warm in the mid-80s right now, but should cool off nicely. Race fans, come on out and join us for Smiley's Heating and Cooling Race Night. 8 races in total, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got plenty of tickets still available, langley-speedway.com, and of course right here at our ticket office on the property. Just as we were talking about the champ carts, they are done for qualifying. Up next, looks as though it will be Grand Stocks. Pepsi Grand Stocks will be up next for Bojangles Bow Time qualifying. And Brian, we've got 2 20-lap races, a little bit different for the Grand Stocks tonight.
Absolutely, 2 twin races for the Pepsi Grand Stocks, who just opened up their season a few weeks back. Good to have them in the rotation once more. And just still an impressive storyline, Paul Lubno. He's back.
Yeah, Paul Lubno, what a great season opener he had. Like he never even took a time off. I mean, the guy was quick from the word go in that number 14 machine. Of course, Tim Wilson picked up the victory. But Paul Lubno right there finished second. Bill Aker, the rookie in the Grand Stocks this year, finished third. And those guys are going to put on a heck of a show. We've got double the fun in Grand Stocks. 2 races for those guys. It's going to be really interesting to see. They don't normally race double headers.
And it's going to be 2 quick ones. There's only 20 laps a pop, so that's 40 trips around this 0.4 of a mile oval. Again, quick race for the Pepsi Grand Stocks, so you better qualify well, get up there and get there in a hurry. And it'll be interesting for race number 2 because, Adam, we talk about it each and every time we have a double header or a twin race. To start the second event, it's an inversion. The top 8 will be flipped.
Yeah, and we might only have 8 cars, so that might be a total field invert for the Grand Stocks coming up. So that'll certainly be interesting to see based on car count who will start where. Race fans, if you look in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, you can see the hashtag Commanders Cup. It is Commanders Cup race night here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway, the Louis Pastoritz Commanders Cup. We've got all of our armed forces branches being represented here this evening. Drivers are representing each and every one of those. They were hand-selected on the Jack Dotson Racing Insider News with Scott Allen's show on Facebook earlier this week. We'll have more of that later on. But if you tweet the hashtag Commanders Cup, let us know where you're watching from and who you are rooting for, maybe what branch of the military you are rooting for as well, with Louis Pastoritz Commanders Cup race night here on Smiley's Heating and Cooling race night. 300 laps around this 0.4 of a mile oval. We've got 2 doubleheaders. We've got not only the Grand Stocks doing doubleheaders, we've got the Larry King Law modifieds for not 50 lap but 75 lap twin races coming up later on. That's going to be a ton of fun. Little wrench in the plans of late model drivers, Brian. Not the typical night they're used to. Going to run a little bit longer than usually scheduled, I should say.
Yeah, 150 laps in total, or 75 laps a race. So it's going to be a much longer night. That's going to be more abuse to that race car, and of course the tires. We know they're going to take a beating as well. So it'll be very interesting and fun to watch our Taylor Race Services late models who are back tonight. One driver that will not be participating here this weekend. He's taken the weekend off to enjoy some downtime. That is Butterbean, Brendan Queen. Will not be here competing tonight, but the guy that's undefeated, he has just had an incredible year, won the Cars Tour race here back when they were here earlier this month. That is Connor Hall. And that storyline, Adam, it's remarkable. Every race he's entered so far here in 2023, he has been victorious, and he's going for yet another, not one, 2 victories here this evening.
Yeah, 6 races we've had at the Speedway, all 6 checkered flags gone to car 77. And you're right, it doesn't matter how long the races are, 50-lap twin races or the 125-lap Cars Tour event. That car was the one to beat. Of course, I believe he put it on the pole that night, went on to win the race, and nobody's had anything for him, Cars Tour or locally. And it's just been so crazy to see Connor come out of the gate strong and just be dominant all season long, even with the top 8 inverts for race number 2 that we have with our twin races. I mean, it has just been lights out, car 77 leading every single time the checkered flag is in the air. I got to imagine, even with the 75 lap total or increase, 25 lap increase, he'll still be one of the drivers to beat, if not the driver to beat, when we get to the late model races coming up later on.
Absolutely. Remember, race fans, on your way to the track, stop by Bojangles for some famous chicken biscuits and tea. We've got a Speedway special 8-piece tailgate that feeds 4 for $21.99. Now that comes with 8 pieces of chicken, 4 biscuits, 2 picnic fixins, and a half-gallon of iced tea. We're 1 mile from the track at 3351 Commander Shepard Boulevard. Bojangles, it's bow time, y'all. I think Mike Vines and the entire team at Bojangles, they sponsor the racetrack, and of course Bojangles pole qualifying each and every Saturday afternoon here on this final weekend, the month of June. Of course, hard to believe we're going to be going into the Independence Day weekend next weekend, and we're back in action next Saturday night. The Virginia Sprint Series will be in town next weekend. You do not want to miss that, and we're going to have an impressive, I mean impressive, fireworks display coming up next Saturday evening. You will not want to miss that. As a matter of fact, you'll want to get here early. We're expecting a mega crowd here next Saturday night to see that wonderful fireworks display and some great racing action coming your way next Saturday evening, July the 1st. Don't miss it. A lot of folks from all over the place. And speaking of all over the place, I was talking with Lori Morgan, her and Miss Anna Morris, always those smiling faces you see when you come into the property here at the Speedway. We have 3 gentlemen from Paris that are here this afternoon and taking in the racing action. So we welcome them from all the way in Paris. They're here in Hampton, Virginia, taking in the action at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. And we appreciate everybody tuning in on Facebook Live and YouTube. You still have plenty of time. Get in the car and get here as quick as you can in Hampton, Virginia. If you're somewhat in the area, we'd love to have you tonight. Just a few tickets left. You can get them at the box office or online at langley-speedway.com. Go ahead and hop in the car, get to the racetrack. You will not regret it. We're going to have 2 impressive Taylor Race Services late model features. You heard Adam Welbrock up here in the tower with myself talk about the Pepsi Grand Stocks, which are getting in position on pit road to go pole qualifying here this afternoon. They'll get 1 lap to try to get it right on the stopwatch. In addition to that, we've got the Huns Recycle Factory HRKC Pro Wing Champ Carts back in action here this evening. The old school video game Super Streets, they're back for their 2nd straight week in a row. The trucks are back, and we've got a lot to talk about with that, Adam. I'll let you talk about the excitement there with the Harris Truck and Auto Super Trucks in action here this evening. And then again, we've got the Farley Financial U-Cars, all of that here this evening. So a full schedule for Smiley's Heating and Cooling. I want to thank our friends at Smiley's Heating and Cooling for sponsoring tonight's festivities. 300 trips around this 4/10 of a mile oval. You're going to see beating and banging, all kinds of excitement. Of course, if you cannot get here, if you're just too far away, tune in to live coverage of the Smiley's Heating and Cooling 300 on Flow Racing beginning at 7 o'clock p.m. We're set, Adam. Let's go qualifying, presented by Bojangles for this fun Pepsi Grand Stocks.
And Mad Dog Bill Aker on the racetrack. Hard to believe he's a rookie, but been a member of the U-Car division for many, many seasons. Won a lot of races over there. This year is dipping his feet into the Grand Stock division. Of course, with that famous sponsor, Mosquito Joe's, proud partner of Langley Speedway, proud partner of Mad Dog. Car always looks sharp, doesn't matter what division it is in. First lap is complete for Bill, and of course 1 lap, as you said, Brian, 1 lap and done for these guys. 18.486, that is the lap of record. And if there's one guy that's going to beat it, I believe he's on the racetrack right now.
How about it? I want to say hats off to Bill Aker. He, of course, a Navy veteran. His son is here, Mike Aker. He's a lieutenant in the U.S. Navy. He is stationed in Tampa. He's here on the property watching Dad race this evening, and you're talking about the driver that's going to be tough to beat. It's this guy, Tim Wilson, car number 17 on the racetrack, and Adam, he is lights out fast with the driver from just up the road here in Newport News, I believe.
Yep, picking up where he left off, race number 1, 18.298, top of the board for the 17 machine. Up next, it is the guy you talked about earlier, Paul Lubno, in the 14 machine.
Paul Lubno, so many victories, so many championships in this division. And Paul Lubno, as we talk about it, he's a 7-time champion in this division, more than 127 career victories. I think he could close his eyes and circle this track just as quick with his eyes open. He knows it like the back of his hand. Here he comes out of turn number 4. Can he knock Tim Wilson off the top spot?
No, he's going to go third quickest out of 3, 18.509 with the 14 machine. Got to believe he's not going to be too happy with that lap, but still going to be fun to watch later on. Of course, 2 races for the Grand Stocks. It's going to be 20 laps for race number 1, 20 laps again for race number 2. So we'll keep our eye on the 14 machine. Right now, it's the 22 of Mike Parker on the speedway.
1 lap, 1 opportunity to get it done. If you make 1 slip, it's going to take you from possibly getting the pole, and you could go way back to a terrible starting spot. So we'll see how it all shakes out. Again, 1 lap for this division, so get it done and get it done right. The stopwatch is rolling for Mike Parker, as you just heard Adam talk about, in car number 22 from Newport News, the C Senor AJ's Go Green Auto Care sponsored vehicle.
Mike's going to go P4 out of 4, 18.741. Right now, the slowest of the 4 drivers take a lap. I believe the 47 is up next. Nate Lundeen on the speedway.
Right now, the lap of record set by car 17, Tim Wilson, 18.298 seconds, as we watch the 2018 Enduro Rookie of the Year and the 2022, or last season, Grand Stocks Rookie of the Year. This is the Wheels Water and Leisure sponsored vehicle. Nate Lundeen, car 47, on his flyer lap now, keeping it hugged right on the bottom of the racetrack. Coming out of turn number 4, Shane Snyder waving that checkered flag in the air for Nate Lundeen.
Sharp looking race car, that 47 machine with the bright orange numbers. Nate is 5th out of 5 drivers, 19.043. Right now, 5th out of 5.
So again, it's Tim Wilson, Bill Aker provisionally on road number 1 for the Pepsi Grand Stocks. We are qualifying for their first of 2 races here tonight, just 20 trips around the racetrack. We talk about how difficult it is to pass. You want to be up front when you start the race, so you can hopefully get a good finishing spot, and especially when it's only 20 laps around this racetrack, when you're circling it as quick as these guys do, 18, 19 seconds, as we watch Ethan Hartman at car number 8 on the speedway. Ethan Hartman bringing it out of turn number 4. He'll see the checkers in the air.
He's going to slot into P6, 19.100.
This is, again, 2 points paying events in this evening's event. The division opened up their season 2 weeks ago, so this will be races number 2 and 3 of the 2023 season. One driver who's not competing in this division this season because he's moved up to the modifieds as well as the trucks is going to be last year's champ Chris Roberts. So he's still pulling double duty, but just not in this division. That'll give somebody else an opportunity to take home a championship by the time this season ends, as we watch car 32 circle the racetrack, and I'm told there's no transponder working on this car, and he goes way loose, Adam, over in turns 3 and 4. I thought the back end of that car was going to turn around. Fortunately for him, it did not, but we do not have a name on this driver quite yet, so we'll get that to you here in just a few moments.
Whoever that driver was, boy, you were right, Brian, had his hands full going down into turn 3. Back end all over the place there, drove it hard into the corner, was looking for that quick lap time. And right now we don't have that, as you mentioned, having transponder issues on the 32, so we'll keep everyone posted here in just a few moments. We'll move on with our next car. This is the Satterley machine. Brian, I'm not really sure who's behind the wheel of this car. I believe we've had 3 generations of Satterleys driving this race car. It is John behind the wheel tonight.
All right, he takes it down over in turns 1 and 2. John Satterley, car number 51 on the speedway, trying to lock in a good lap here. The driver from Dutton, Virginia, the Maritime Mayhem Charter Fishing Martin's Custom Marine LLC. for this driver, John Satterley, who's considered a rookie. He came home 7th in the season opening race for John Satterley, and he'll clock in at 19.304 seconds. And it was actually Cameron Walker who piloted the 32 car as we were working to get a name, but we do not have a time for Cameron, so I'm not sure how NASCAR is going to sort that. But the red light has come on. We have wrapped up Bojangles pole qualifying for our Pepsi Grand Stocks, and Tim Wilson, Adam, gets it done.
Yeah, big surprise there. Car 17 doing what he does. That is put up quick lap times in the Grand Stock division. Tip of the cap to Mad Dog Bill Aker. The rookie is going to start outside of row number 1. Paul Lubno and Mike Parker in row 2. Nate Lundeen, Ethan Hartman in row 3. John Satterley and Cameron Walker, row 4. The 33 car of Gary Kidder saw some puffs of smoke out of that machine in practice, so he did not get a chance to qualify, hoping everything is all right with that car. We see him later on tonight, but he is scheduled to start 9th.
And talking about John Satterley, he's actually the owner and captain at Maritime Mayhem Fishing Charter. So when he's not camping or fishing, there's a good chance you're going to find him at the racetrack, and he's certainly a driver who wants to get it done. 66 years young, from Dutton, Virginia. His son Jared competes out here at the racetrack, as does his granddaughter Amanda. They race in various divisions, so 3 generations of Satterleys racing here. And tonight, Grandpa driving the 51 car, and he laid down a fast lap. But again, Tim Wilson laid down the quickest lap here this evening, and he'll start P1 when we drop the green flag. So that'll wrap up 2 divisions here in Bojangles Bow Time pole qualifying. We are now moving to the old school video game Super Streets. They are getting in position in the pits to come out and lay down some fast times for that division. Tonight will be round 5 for the 2023 season here for the old school video game Super Streets. So they're back for their 2nd straight week in a row. And we'll see who is able to deliver. By the time we take the checkered flag, they'll have 40 trips around the speedway. And for qualification this afternoon, Adam, just 1 lap. For some reason for me, that just would make me nervous as a driver. You only get 1 time. And normally in some of the other divisions, we might get 2 trips around the racetrack. But sometimes it really doesn't matter if it's 1 or 2 laps, because we've seen in multiple divisions, lap 1 not as quick as lap 2. So it's really like lap 2, okay, you still can't screw it up.
Yeah, definitely want to hit all your marks on lap 1, and that's something we're seeing even on the national level with the NASCAR Xfinity Series earlier today. Those guys in qualifying in Nashville only had 1 lap to get it done. We saw a number of drivers actually have a poor run based on just the 1 lap that they had. So we've got a number of drivers coming from the rear in that race, and that's just something that drivers, you know, it doesn't matter what level that you're at, you've always got to be perfect and hit your marks, because even just the slightest bit can cost you a number of positions and ultimately hurt your race. We know these laps go by in a hurry. You're going to be wanting all that track position to start off basically as best as you can in order to have a shot at the win, because we don't really see drivers work their way from the rear very often.
And race fans, you're here on the property, go down and check out the great band that's going to be performing here in our fan zone here under the grandstands as they're on the midway. Southern Attitude performing here this evening. Good to have Southern Attitude. April Scheidel always doing a fantastic job with organizing the great live entertainment. Adam, that is something really cool and really special about this speedway. It's really one big party when you come on the property, because yes, we're going to catch some outstanding racing that's going to take place on the speedway, but outside of that, we can play cornhole, we can watch live music, and every Saturday night, April has a new band ready to rock and roll. Yeah, she definitely helps us out a lot. Miss April Scheidel does so much, of course, putting together the bands, helping us in Victory Lane, keeping everything moving, and yeah, you mentioned it. Just a great atmosphere here at Langley Speedway, Hampton, Virginia. The music that the fans can hang out with. You can have your redneck fries, jam out to some good music, have a cold beverage, and just enjoy your afternoon here in this beautiful weather here in Hampton, Virginia. When you get ready for race time, you come and grab your seat in the stands and enjoy a great action-packed night of racing. 8 races in total tonight. It is Smiley's heating and cooling race night. So always fun here, Brian, each and every week. We just we're so grateful and we're so spoiled here at the racetrack just with everything that we have. First-class facility with first-class people, including my buddy Ralph, who's up here checking everything out. Ralph is the man with the plan. He keeps our audio rolling and our IT. He's so smart. He tells me what to do and I just do it. I mean, that's a hard job to be in charge of all
people behind the scenes, man. They make it happen, I tell you. They make us look good.
I don't know how to turn the thing on barely. I can barely turn it on, and Ralph says don't touch any of the controls because you're going to screw it up, and I won't do that.
You're gonna have to tie your hands up. Just keep away from all the soundboard buttons over there.
Exactly. Well, Adam, we are rolling here in Old School Video Games Super Streets, and I just think Old School Video Games and More, such a great company, a great owner, great partner. Just, we love Old School Video Games.
Yeah, who doesn't love old school video games? I mean, they're located just around the corner, right next to our Bojangles restaurant over Mike Vines and the team. They're right next door as Gordon has his hands full off turn number 4.
Wow, I missed that, Adam. That car was all over the place.
He was pointed right towards Dale Emmons victory lane, crossing the start-finish line. Now, my goodness. That's our points leader in this division, the number 20 machine. It's been a good year so far for Gordon. He's got 1 win under his belt already.
He has the best average finishing position of drivers that have competed in all 4 races with an average of 2nd place at the finish line for car number 20, Gordon Weeks. As you heard Adam talk about how he's already put that car down in Dale Emmons victory lane. He didn't want to put it in victory lane in the
Not right now. Later on he wants to put it there, but not right now. Not under the stopwatch. He's got an 18.9 on the board, so we'll keep an eye on that lap time as we move through this division. But yeah, you mentioned that average finish. That'll do it, man. I mean, you've got a 2nd place average finish. You're doing something right.
You indeed are, and this is the driver that we just talked about a moment ago. His dad is competing in the last division, the Pepsi Grand Stocks, and now on the Old School Video Game Super Streets, his son Jared Satterley, who's also considered a rookie in this division in the Maritime Mayhem Charter Fishing entry, car number 11 from Dutton, Virginia. He has completed his lap of record.
I believe Jared was in the car last week, and they had mechanical issues. They were digging under the hood of that car, so didn't get the finish they were looking for. Good to see Jared back. And of course, whenever we see him and John on the racetrack, think of Amanda, who is a longtime competitor here. She just graduated high school. Big congratulations to her. We hope to see her back here at the racetrack, competing in the Grand Stocks soon. Right now, Sean Calloway is on the racetrack in car number 12.
Sean Calloway trying to lay down a fast one right against the outside retaining wall from Virginia Beach, Virginia. That's my hometown. Drives the Cal's Pizza Performance Food Group. Entering for Sean Calloway, who pretty good lap there.
Yeah, he'll be happy with that one. 19.011 slots into 2nd place.
Sean Calloway, as I look here on the point standings, he's tied with Christian Keller for 9th of the championship chase. His best finish this year is a 7th back on May the 6th. So he's hoping to pick it up here this evening as our next qualifier rolls it back to 1 and 2.
Yes, number 4 machine, Joshua Crabtree behind the wheel. Josh has his hands full there off turn 2. The back end stepping out on him. Keeps it pointed in the right direction, though. He's down in turn 3. We'll see if the car's any better down here.
He just had a birthday a week or so ago, so happy belated birthday to Sean Joshua Crabtree. I'll get it right. I was looking at the scoring monitor. But Joshua Crabtree from right here in Hampton, Virginia, car number 4, has completed his lap 14th in the points chase. He's actually missed the last couple of races, so good to have him back. He opened up the season with an 8th place finish.
I believe he too was one of the cars that was dealing with a mechanical issue. He pulled off the racetrack, I think, just as the race was getting started last week. So good to see that car running, and looks like it was up to full speed. He's up to 3rd on the board, so right now at a 19.650, solid lap for that 4 machine.
I'm not sure if we got a transponder on this next car as he rolls it back. Jonathan White, thank you there. Jonathan White on the racetrack, also from Hampton, in the Marty Strickland Racing entry car. Marty Strickland providing the horse plant for that race vehicle, and I would say Marty did a good job with it. Right now, provisionally outside row 1, 18.992 seconds, 9/100ths of a second off the mark from Gordon Weeks, who out of the first 5 cars has put down the quickest lap at an 18.901 seconds. If you're just joining us on the property, good afternoon and welcome back home to Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Looks like we've got a baseball team down here in the grandstands. Good to have them out. I see them in their uniforms, so good to have the baseball group with us here this evening as we watch Joe Stuck on the racetrack right now, car number 16. He's the top rookie thus far for this season as a test engineer with the Newport News Shipbuilding. He now enjoys racing stock cars on Saturday nights here in Hampton. 24 years of age. He did compete last year in the Enduros, came home 9th in the championship chase, so Joe's decided to move up to this division.
And not a bad decision on his part. He's P4 right now in an 18.550. Believe he did not get a chance to compete last week, so good to see him back. And of course, his race team down there in the bright purple, can't miss them. The number 16 crew waiting to receive him as he pulls off the racetrack. That'll make way for car number 45.
That'll be Matt Kaminskas on the racetrack right now. This is a relatively new name from, I believe, Aylett, Virginia. So again, Matt Kaminskas, I think, is running his first few handful of races in car number 45 as he works through turns 3 and 4. Matt Kaminskas on the racetrack. He has competed in the last 2 races. That's his first 2 with a pair of 12th place finishes for car 45.
Right now, Matt is 7th out of 720.092, so a little bit of work to do come race time for the 45 team.
Here is a past track champion getting ready to join us here on the racetrack. We're talking about the one and only Dale Nichols, car number 8. He's searching for that first victory in 2023 as he comes out of turn number 4 to take the green flag and set off for his one and only flyer lap. Again, this is Dale Nichols, currently P2 in the championship chase, just 3 points behind the leader, Gordon Weeks. He's got 1 second place finish, Adam, and a triple third place effort. So he's been right near the front each and every Saturday evening.
We talk about how consistent Gordon Weeks is, you said, with an average finish of 2nd. Well, just based off that quick math, Dale Nichols not far behind it, 3 points between our top 2 competitors. Dale, of course, you mentioned, a former champion of this series, and he goes right to the top at 18.761. So good lap for the 8 machine, and he was looking pretty quick last week, starting on the pole, I believe, ran 2nd to Sammy Gaeta. So I gotta believe that win's coming for team number 8. We'll keep an eye on them tonight.
I have to agree with that, Adam, because again, Dale Nichols, 2-time champion. He did pick up a victory here back last season. He picked up 1 win, so he's hoping to at least get that here in 2023. There he is, a champion in the Farley Financial U-Cars, and he has done just about everything you can do in that division. And he's trying his hand now in the old school video game Super Streets. We're talking about 2-time champ Christian Keller, car number 6, and wow, good lap. He's struggled this season thus far in this division, but you would expect that for pretty much anybody that's just moving up to this division. You got to feel for the car, get the car dialed in, because it drives drastically different than his U-car.
Yeah, not at all similar. We're talking about the small U-Cars that we see out here, which we'll see him in that race too tonight, coming up later on. But a great lap for the number 6 machine. He's in P5 at an 18.441.
Angelo Stellan is on the racetrack right now. That is car number 72. He is from Poquoson. He drives a Chevrolet Monte Carlo. He's been racing here for 4 years and is just 19 years of age. He's sponsored by Turnkey Electrical Solutions. His crew chief is John Satterley, and Mark Edwards does the spotting for this driver. And Adam, here's one interesting note for Angelo. He can juggle. That's clearly something I'm not able to do.
That's a great talent. I wonder what's harder, juggling or driving the race car.
Well, I think he's doing good at both, because right now he's provisionally P6 here for car 72. He put down a time of 19.544 seconds for car 72, Angelo Stellan. As we get a momentary pause here in qualifying, now we will continue. So 10 drivers have had their hand on the racetrack for Bojangles pole qualifying. Hey, race fans, use your smartphone to order from Bojangles. You can schedule your pickup times that your food will be as fast and fresh as possible. Make sure to select curbside pickup option when checking out. And if you go ahead and download the Grubhub app and search for Bojangles, all orders over $30 will get $5 off. And if you spend more than $50, you'll get $12 off.
All right, here's the man we've been watching, Sammy Gaeta, winner from a week ago.
I don't know, did Sammy even practice earlier today? I'll have to go back and check my stats here, because we were wondering about car 21, Sammy Gaeta. He may have just not have the transponder on, I'm not sure. But Sammy Gaeta from Poquoson, it goes all the way, Adam, to where?
Picking up from where he left off a week ago, right there in the first position, 18.741, or 740, excuse me, to an 18.761 for Dale Nichols. So that car definitely looks to be as quick as it was 1 week ago.
How about that? He became the 3rd different winner of the 2023 season. Sammy sponsored by First Response Marine Towing and Guardian Auto Repair. So the past track champ of this division is doing very good here this afternoon as we watch another driver who's just been so successful in whatever he drives. And he drives a lot of different divisions. Danny Hot Wheels Harrell, and wow, Adam, good lap for car 95.
P4 for the 95 machine, 18.927, provisionally outside of row 2.
So Danny Harrell, car number 95, currently fourth in the championship chase. He and Colby Vance swapped positions in the point standings after Danny came home P6 and Colby actually finished fourth. So Colby got a couple of more points than Danny did. So Danny right now inside the top 5 in the championship chase, fourth currently, just 13 markers behind points leader Gordon Weeks. And get this, he's just 1 point behind Colby Vance, who sets third. So we could see some more flip-flopping in the championship standings as the night progresses.
There's that car you were just talking about, the 44 machine. Colby Vance on the racetrack right now slots into position 3 in the point standing. So been a quiet season for this 44 car, not really making any major headlines, just being cool, calm, and collected each and every week, getting out a solid result, and that'll definitely put you third in the point standings, as he has his hands full again there through 3 and 4. Seeing that as a trend, Brian, dealing with turns 3 and 4, drivers got their handful down on that end of the racetrack. But Colby very, very quick, 18.918. He goes ahead of Danny Harrell in position number 4.
Outside of row 2 right now for the McDonald's entry, this driver, 26 years of age, calls Portsmouth home. And do you know this, Adam? During the day, he works at Port of Virginia, I should say, as a longshoreman.
How about that?
That's his career during the day, and he is a race car driver because we know he's been so successful. He actually picked up a championship back in 2019 in the Parts Barn Enduro Series. So he's having a good start thus far here in 2023. But as Adam mentioned, he wants to get that first win, and maybe tonight could be the night. But Sammy Gaeta has done it. He has won the Bojangles Pole Award as he clocked in at 18.740 seconds. That's 2/100ths of a second faster than the driver that will join him on the front row. To his right elbow will be Dale Nichols. And car number 8, Gordon Weeks, will qualify inside of row number 2. And Colby Vance, who we just watched, he'll start P4 with Danny Harrell rounding out the top 5. Jonathan White goes 6th quick. Sean Cowley was 7th. Christian Keller will start 8th. Angelo Stella 9th, and rounding out the top 10 will be Joe Stuck, the rookie competitor. Joshua Crabtree goes 11th. Jared Satterley 12th, and Matt Kaminskas will start P13. We drop the green flag for 40 fun, and I mean fun, laps around this racetrack when it's all said and done. Coming up next, getting in position is our Harris Truck Super Trucks, as they get set to qualify here. Just like the opening divisions that we've watched, the trucks will get just one trip around this racetrack to get a good starting spot, and then we're going to move into the Farley Financial U-Cars to qualify, and then we'll also see the Taylor Waste Services late models. And Adam, we got a comment here. Leave us a comment when you're watching and who you are rooting for tonight. And let's see if we can dig into the comments, as I want to see if we can watch us. Also, go ahead and comment on YouTube as well. We'd love to get those on Facebook Live and YouTube as you're watching at home or wherever you are. You may be at the beach tuning in. So go ahead and let us know what you're thinking and what you're seeing as we have qualifying right now. Looks like Jack Dodson is tuning in. He says, good luck to the big motor of Rick Paust. And as we see others tuning in, hey, another past track champion watching from the Sunshine State, Ronald Klein. Hope you're doing good. He says, good afternoon, everyone. Good luck to all drivers racing for the Louis Pastoritz Commander's Cup. And let's talk about something that he mentions as we see Steve Beliski on the property. Says, hey, Brian and Adam, as does Jack Dodson. And Justin Kern, who is our director and producer, says, looks like the weather actually wants to summer this summer. Actually pretty warm here, and should impact the setups, and I couldn't agree any more there. As Rick Paust comments, let's see what this 9 has got for them tonight. And thank you, buddy, Rick Paust, as he is certainly a fast driver. And he also notes, Adam, it's a lot of pressure on these drivers because you only get one lap of qualification. So Rick also commenting on that. And Adam, let's talk a little bit about the Louis Pastoritz Commander's Cup. What's that about?
So every year we have, I believe it's a drawing. I'm not really sure how they're picked at the Jack Dodson Racing Insider News with Scott Allen show. They drivers are selected. We've got each of our armed forces represented, and you're going to pick, I believe it's a driver from each division to represent each armed branch. And each driver is going to be assigned to a certain armed branch. All of the drivers collectively have to have a high average finish in order to win the cup. And so at the end of the night, it's a bunch of number crunching, and we leave that to the professionals.
Yeah, like Justin Kern.
Justin Kern and all of our timing officials to sort that out. So whichever group collectively has the best average finish, they will win the Louis Pastoritz Commander's Cup. We'll keep an eye on it. I believe we've got of all of our divisions are represented. Of course, our 8 races tonight. That'll be interesting to follow. Of course, two races for some of our divisions, our Grand Stocks and our late models. So just another wrench into the equation.
And good point there. And we just want to say a big, big thank you to all of our men and women who currently serve or have served in our armed forces. We just cannot thank you enough for what you do. I've got family members. My brother is in the Navy as a captain, so I can certainly, or excuse me, as a captain. So I can certainly understand how important it is, and we know the toll it takes on families. So we think about the spouses, the children of all those who serve or have served. We just appreciate you because of what you do and your sacrifices that you've made. We're able to do what we do, such as compete here today at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. So just a big thank you. And Adam, we got so many drivers and team members that are currently serving or have served, because we are in the part of the country where we have tons of armed forces representing us.
Yeah, right across the street, Langley Air Force Base. Always there to remind us. And of course, whenever these trucks are on the racetrack, we think of Louis Pasteritz, who competed in the truck series for many, many years. Of course, Chris Roberts runs that number 8 truck now. His dad, Louis Pasteritz Sr., is racing tonight as well, so that's really, really cool to see. And how fitting was it to name the Cup after Louis Pasteritz? Such a great, great man and terrific driver. Won a number of races here at the Speedway, and always had a minute to talk to you or whatever you needed. He was there, and boy, he was a heck of a wheelman, as I said. Just so talented, and just we miss him after he tragically lost his life serving our country. But we're going to celebrate him tonight for sure with this Commander's Cup, and I couldn't think of anything more fitting.
I agree. Wayne Lyon just laid down a time of 21.624 seconds for the driver of Truck 66 from Chesapeake, and we're watching Hampton's Chris Bechtel in the 57 as he gets around the racetrack, and he's quick here, Adam.
Yeah, Chris is going to go to the top of the board, 20.062 ahead of the Wayne Lyon truck. And of course, we saw Hunter Waltrip drive that truck 1 week ago. Our points leader, or tied for the points lead now, had trouble last week in the 33 truck. A transmission, I believe, was blown in that practice session last Saturday, so he was unable to compete. Chris reached out to him, said, hey, you want to drive my truck? And of course, Hunter jumped right to it.
And he needed those points, didn't he, Adam?
Absolutely.
Because right now, he and Bill Wallace are tied for the point standings lead. So Hunter did lose some points, but he could have lost a ton more if he did not compete. He came home in 6th spot driving the 57 pickup here a couple of weekends ago, as we watch the driver who's trying to get back to the points lead, way loose, coming out of turn number 4, almost lost it. Good heads-up driving for Hunter Waltrip in the pickup 33. They say Adam loose is fast.
Yeah, went a little bit too loose there on the setup, 18.933. He is quickest right now, but man, that looked ugly for a second after having, we mentioned mechanical troubles 1 week ago. Did not want to see that truck get tore up in qualifying. As we saw with Chris Roberts last week, he lost a ton of ground in points after a qualifying wreck. Didn't allow him to compete. And this driver was the one that took advantage. Mr. Rick Poust on the racetrack, truck number 9, went to victory lane.
35 years of age, sponsored by Patrick Shepard Amsoil Racing. And this year, he's been right near the front with 2 4th-place finishes and a victory in the very last race for pickup truck number 9. And pickup truck number 9, right now, the driver from Chesapeake, provisionally 2nd here outside row 1, 19.159 seconds, as Hunter Waltrip right now is the fastest. The driver from Williamsburg, 18.933 seconds for truck 33. But we still have several heavy hitters to go, including this driver, truck 19, tied with Hunter for the point standings lead, as he has 2 3rd-place finishes. That's his best of 2023. This is Bill Wallace in pickup truck number 19, and he has just been so fast, 73 years young, and he's hoping to make history by becoming one of the most senior competitors to win a title. He could just do it. Have to remember, Bill won a U-Cars championship back in 2004, and Bill Wallace, well, he's quick.
Yeah, 3rd quickest for the 19 machine, 19.582, and you mentioned it, and just the season that guy is having. Bill Wallace tied for the points lead with Hunter Waltrip. Of course, Hunter has a couple of wins this year, but Bill, you talk about that average 3rd-place finish, Brian, and we mentioned how consistency matters. Bill's certainly an aspect of that 19, so chipping away at it every week. He's fast, but not doing anything too drastic with the truck, just being fast and being consistent.
Here's a driver that represents the Navy. Not only does he have, he got the draw for Navy, he's Team Navy tonight, he's actually in the U.S. Navy. This is going to be Hunter's Donald Brown in the 05. Serves our country. We cannot thank him enough for what he does. And I told him, I saw him earlier this afternoon. I said, Donald, how did you get Team Navy? You're in the Navy. He just laughed. I guess he had some pull here with Justin, or just had really good luck, as he's going to have fun representing his branch of service. Donald Brown, fourth fastest, 19.699 seconds for truck number 05, sponsored by Lametta Chiropractic and Calico Creations, as well as the Portsmouth Army Navy store. Make that truck 05 in the pits now, and big wiggle out of that 3.
Chris McAvoy on the racetrack. Boy, yeah, had his hands full again. Turns 3 and 4, bit another driver. That just seems to be the treacherous area of the racetrack. Right now in the hot sun of the day, beating down on that side of the racetrack. Well, really the entire racetrack, but turns 3 and 4 really giving drivers fits across all of our divisions. Which lap does Chris have for us today? Third quickest, 19.395 in that number 3 machine. Another one of those drivers, just very consistent, Brian. Third in points right now. Got to shout him out.
I agree, because he had his best career finish when he came home in second 2 Saturday nights ago, or the very last event. So Chris McAvoy is getting stronger and stronger week in and week out. He may just get that first career win. We're going to see if the 33-year-old can finish one spot higher tonight, and see if the Newport News native can get it done. So keep your eyes on pickup truck number 3, Chris McAvoy, who's currently P3.
Right now on the racetrack, truck number 4, Gates Kobashevsky, the rookie competitor.
Sponsored by CrossFit Buckrow Beach and DIG Electrical for the driver that calls Norfolk home. Comes out of corner number 4 to take the checkered flag for Gates Kobashevsky, the rookie racer, right now 7th out of the 8 pickups. He turns a time of 20.240 seconds. Looks like still just a few more trucks to go, maybe 4 as I'm counting, if I can do my math correctly here this afternoon. Still to go here in Bojangles pole qualifying, as we watch the driver who had to set out the last race because Adam, he crashed it here in Bojangles pole qualifying.
Yeah, race fans, if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, you remember that 8 truck lost it off turn number 4, had the nose pointed right at the grandstands, hit the wall head on, and was unable to compete. So definitely good to see Chris back. The truck is in one piece and it looks fast here. Once again, we'll see what he's got for us.
He picked up tons of wins last year, 6 to be exact, and actually didn't win the championship, but he was fast, lost 6 positions in the points by not competing last weekend. He's currently 11th in the championship chase, 2 Saturday nights ago, but Adam, I don't think he cares about that because right now he's pretty quick.
Yeah, top of the board, as a matter of fact, 18.917. Great lap for the 8 truck. Good bounce back for that team after you mentioned lost a ton of ground in the point standings, and I'm sure they're happy to just be back at the racetrack and able to compete, but they're still really, really fast right now, top of the board in that number 8 truck.
Louis Pastoritz Sr., the father of Louis Pastoritz, who tragically lost his life a few years back, has competed in this division, has been successful in this division. He won the 2020 championship. We lost him way too early in life, but his dad calls Palos Hills, Illinois home and has made the trip with the entire family, Mom Julie, the brother Joey, Megan, the sister, and Joe, the grandfather, all here to watch this driver compete, and as they remember and memorialize the late, great Louis Pastoritz. But his dad, Louis Pastoritz Sr., that's a beautiful pickup truck, number 26.
Yeah, definitely. If it was a fashion show, he would definitely take the prize with that truck. Louis, definitely the sharpest looking truck out here. And what a field of super trucks that we have for us tonight, Brian. It's going to be an awesome show as these drivers go after it for 25 laps. And of course, the truck that Louis used to drive is that 8 truck with Chris Roberts. He's sitting P1 right now.
How about this? Dwight Nichols. That's an interesting name. Dwight Nichols is going to drive the 15. That's normally piloted by Chase McAdams, but right now it's Dwight Nichols. We know that name, don't we?
Yeah, former competitor here in the U-Cars. It is going to be the 15 truck. What's the lap time on that machine?
They might have been playing games with me. I think they were just trying to see if they could set me up. And they say, he'll read whatever you put on the screen. It's kind of like...
They're making you their little puppet over here. That's Chase McAdams right now in the 15 truck. He is P7, 20.011 for the longtime super truck competitor.
You've seen Anchorman, right?
Yeah.
He just reads, Will Ferrell reads whatever you put on the screen. I'm obviously a Will Ferrell. All right, so Adam, keep us going here as we get set for the next truck.
On the racetrack right now, truck number 92 going to take the green flag. Chris Alexander, the driver behind the wheel, 12th truck to take a lap. I believe we still have a couple trucks left, so a great field of super trucks ready to go for 25 laps tonight. 5th race of the year. Mentioned Rick Paus won the race 1 week ago, currently 3rd on the board behind Hunter and Chris. I believe Chris is going to go P10 at a 20.540 in that number 92 machine, 10th out of 12 so far.
One more to go as we get set to wrap up Bojangles pole qualifying for the Harris Truck Shop Super Trucks. And then we have the Farley Financial U-Cars to follow. Then those the Premier Division, the Taylor Waste Services late model is going to be coming out here in a matter of moments. From Hayes, Virginia, this is going to be Tim Carter, pickup truck 01. That's a sharp-looking red and white truck as he rolls it back to turns 1 and 2 for Tim Carter. Tim Carter right now 12th in the championship chase, has a couple of 7th place finishes as his best this year in the last 2 events. Can't quite keep it tucked all the way to the bottom. I think that's a tight race truck for him as he's turning that wheel and the truck just keeps drifting up the speedway.
Yeah, the front end push definitely evident there coming off of turn number 4. Tim's going to go P10 at a 20.501. That's going to wrap up super truck qualifying here on Bojangles Bow Time qualifying. Chris Roberts with the pole position. He and Hunter Waltrip starting on the front row.
So Chris Roberts says, hey, I'm back. I'm going to show these boys and girls I'm back, as he goes out and lays down a blistering fast lap. The fastest pickup truck on the property is Chris Roberts and teammate. They've certainly went back to work, repaired that truck, and it is lights out fast for the Vitikio Yo-Yo pickup truck. Chris Roberts, your pole winner here this afternoon. Rick Paust will go 3rd in the 9 truck. He's the defending race winner, fresh off his first win of the 2023 season a couple of weeks back. Chris McAvoy trying to continue to improve his best career finish of 2nd. He's going to roll off P4 or outside of row 2. And Bill Wallace, fast, truck number 19. He's currently rounds out the top 5 for the starters of the 25-lap contest coming up later on this evening. Donald Brown will go 6th quick. Chase McAdams was 7th. Chris Bechtel 8th, Gates Kolbaszewski 9th, and Tim Carter rounds out the top 10. Chris Alexander will start P11. Louis Pastorich will go off 12th. Wayne Lyon 13th here. We drop the green flag later on this evening. Farley Financial U-Cars getting ready to come out and lay down some quick laps. So Farley Financial U-Cars making their way to the speedway. Quite a few of those drivers, and of course one of those will be Christian Keller, who just qualified his Super Streets pickup as he gets set to go at it here in just a little bit. And the Farley Financial U-Cars will have 30 laps of racing. It'll be the 6th event of the evening when we drop the green flag for that race. These fun U-Cars are back for race number 4 of the season. Their last outing was earlier this month on June the 3rd. That's when Christian Keller became a back-to-back winner after pulling off make that a back-to-back champion last year when he pulled off 7 victories, the most of any other driver. This year he's moved up to the old school video game Super Streets that we just mentioned. And Adam, he decided that after missing the opener in that division, wasn't going to possibly pull double duty, but after that, every race he's entered, he's won.
Yeah, I remember interviewing him in Victory Lane that night. He once said they pulled the car out of the barn and brought it to the racetrack. That's just how quick and easy it is to compete in this division. Drivers getting after it each and every lap, and Christian picking up where he left off last year, winning the championship. You mentioned 7 races. So good to see him back here. He's already got 2 wins on the year, but you mentioned hasn't run the full schedule. 7th in points, got some work to do if he wants to pick up another championship, but still having some fun in this division and learning some things for the Super Streets.
Absolutely. 26 years of age, Nice Sky Auto and Transmission, as well as Parts Barn sponsor the driver. That's from Suffolk. We're talking about Christian Keller. He'll roll off a little bit later on in Farley Financial U-Cars, Bojangles pole qualifying. Again, don't forget, race fans, next Saturday night, July the 1st, Independence Day weekend, we will have a tremendous fireworks show. You will want to be here and get here early because we're expecting a tremendous crowd next weekend for the fireworks display, and we're going to have some Virginia Sprint Series back in town.
Yeah, I was able to watch them at Dixieland Speedway a few weeks ago, and they're a lot of fun. Doesn't matter if it's dirt or asphalt. That Virginia Sprint Series, so fun to watch, and those drivers, I mean, absolutely haul the mail. They've got to be the fastest division, I think, that we have here, Brian. It is just a sight to behold.
It is. I was talking with Bill Mullis yesterday. He and I were on the phone chatting, and we talked about the Bill Mullis, of course, the owner of Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. He also has a sprint car that he runs, as you mentioned, nearby Dixieland Speedway. He's ran other racetracks in the Virginia Sprint Series. He's competed in his racetrack in the Virginia Sprints. They are lights out fast. They are super quick. They haul the mill. And if you've never seen them compete on this racetrack, you will not want to miss it next Saturday night. They are such a great professional group of racers who can really go after it and put on a great show. We look forward to that next Saturday night. The Virginia Sprints back in action here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway, and Bill Aker doing double duty. We talked about him at the Pepsi Grand Stocks, and now he's going to run this Farley Financial U car. As we mentioned earlier, his son Mike is here. He's a lieutenant in the U.S. Navy and getting ready to deploy to Bahrain in just a few months. He's a new dad with a 6-month-old is his first son, and that's Bill's grandson. So Mateo, we want to congratulate and thank Mike Aker, and of course Bill himself has served this great country in the Navy as well. Here he comes out of turn number 4, just one trip around the speedway. Get it and get it quick.
And he's the only driver in this division with experience on the racetrack other than Christian Keller, an 18.181 benchmark for this division. We'll see what the rest of the field has, but Bill laying down the gauntlet saying, all right, everybody, you chase that lap. Mentioned he and Christian Keller already have some time on the racetrack today in qualifying, Brian. I got to imagine that's an advantage. The cars aren't similar, but still, when you have a chance to get on the racetrack in another division, do that one lap, you know how you need to be. It's got to be an advantage for sure, and I look for that to be helpful with the 22 and the 6.
Yeah, I think track time's so important. This gives you more opportunities to get into a rhythm and get the feel for how the car is going to perform. Here's Carrollton, Virginia's Brent Burgess on the racetrack right now. Brent Burgess, 3 years of go-kart racing. He's got 3 wins, a handful of podium finishes. Finished second in the championship for the 375 Predator division. Sponsors include Anytime Cornhole, as car 18, the rookie racer, wraps it up with a 19.880 second lap for Brent Burgess. Right now, everybody's chasing the driver who won a championship here in this division several years back, 2012 to be exact. Bill Aker, 19.181 seconds is the lap of record for this driver, Bill Aker, who's raced in the dirt, and then, of course, here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Michael Walters is on the racetrack right now, car 3, ready to go this evening. That's a sharp-looking race car. Reminds me of a special paint scheme for maybe one of the Winston races, the Winston All-Star races back in the day at the famous Charlotte Motor Speedway for the late, great Dale Earnhardt Sr. So from Newport News is Michael Walters with Little's Restaurant ECC Contracting sponsor this driver, and Michael Walters wraps up his lap.
That baby definitely is sharp. You can see that thing from here. I mean, it is just shiny. That number 3 machine, 19.949. Michael is 3rd out of 3 drivers so far.
Michael Walters, car number 3, has a couple of 8th place finishes here in 2023. As we see the next driver come out, this is Tyler Borden.
Tyler won a couple of races in this division last year. That 36 car, always fast.
From Norfolk.
See what he has for the stopwatch as he comes through turns 3 and 4 using the flat part of the racetrack. Down there, the apron, he's going to go P2 at 18.712. Right now, half a second. That's a heck of a lap from Bill Aker. Some 0.5 of a second off the whole time set by that 22 machine. What a blistering lap from Bill.
Indeed, that was a good one for Bill Aker. Tyler Borden, 2 starts out of 3 races thus far. He actually missed the last event earlier this month. So the last time Tyler's competed was back on April 29th. He's got a 5th and a 4th place effort. Dustin Connor is on the racetrack right now in car number 32 from Smithfield in the Backyard Motorsports Scrapping and Ray's Import Auto Repair of Smithfield for Dustin Connor in car 32. As he's trying to get it done here this afternoon. Dustin up 1 place in points to 5th, and he's looking for his first top 5, and he may just get it.
Yeah, how about that? Top of the board for the 32 machine, 19.026. Great lap for Dustin. He's going to go top of the board, fastest out of 5 drivers so far.
That was a 1/10 of a second faster than Bill Aker. So Dustin Connor as you mentioned, laying down the gauntlet, he does it right then at car 32. Very, very fast for Dustin Connor. So right now, Bill Aker will get drop kicked to second. Tyler Borden right now is currently third.
Just talked about how quick that lap was from the 22, and Dustin said, "Hey, watch this, 10th and a half. That is impressive for the 32 car." We'll keep an eye on that later on and see how his race trim holds up. Right now, Kyle Davis is on the racetrack, car 52, the rookie competitor.
Out of Newport News, Virginia, just up the road, not far from here. He'll go sixth fastest of the 6 cars, 20.256 seconds for Kyle Davis. Again, we just saw Dustin Connor go out and lay down a fast lap of 19.026 seconds. And let's run you through the points coming into tonight. It's Hayden Sheldon on top by 2 markers over Charlie Bryant. Charlie Bryant racing this division here in 2023, currently second. Bill Aker is third in points. Dwight Nichols is currently fourth, and Dustin Connor, who's on the provisional pole at the moment, is fifth, 13 points behind Hayden Sheldon. As we watch a racer that you announce on Wacky Wednesdays here every Wednesday evening. She's competed in your on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, both her and her husband Sparky talking about Crystal West on the racetrack. Haven't seen them out this season. Looking to have them come back with us real soon. But, they've been busy, and of course Sparky competes in the limiteds. So they have their hands full here on Saturday nights. Crystal not going to be too pleased with that lap, 20.543. She is 7th out of 7. Been a tough year for the 99 team across the board, so they're going to need something to make it happen here in the latter stretch of the season.
So Crystal West, car 99 from Hampton, and she has done good things here at the racetrack, just struggling a little bit here in 2023 in this division. I'm sure her and her team are going to go to work on it, try to get it a little bit faster as they try to make continuous improvements. As we now see Hayden Sheldon. That is that black 13 car circling the racetrack. Your point standings leader, we talked about it. He won the season opening race back on April the 8th. Since then has a second and a third place effort. 2 different winners in this division. Christian Keller has 2. Hayden Sheldon has the other one. Can Hayden Sheldon go to the top?
Not quite. P3 in 18.190. About 100th of a second off of the Bill Aker lap in second. Right now, everybody's still chasing the Dustin Connor lap, but Hayden slots into the inside of row number 2 provisionally.
I saw a puff of smoke come from the back of that car. I'm not sure if he got down in the grass or if there was something mechanically going on, so we'll keep our eyes on that as your point standings leader hopefully just got down in the marbles and kicked up some dust. But I did see a puff of smoke as he exited turn number 2 and went down the backstretch after he wrapped up his qualification lap. All right, this is the driver to watch. Keep your eyes on car number 6, the defending and 2-time champion of this division. From Suffolk, Virginia, it's Christian Keller. At car 6, he is 2 for 2. 2 starts this year, 2 victories. Is he going to go to the top here in Bojangles pole qualifying?
No, P4, 19.230. So a little bit of a slower lap than Hayden. Right now they share the second row, but not the laps we were expecting, Brian, from our 2 winners this season. Right now it is Dustin Connor and Bill Aker on the top of the scoring pylon, and we've got 2 drivers left to go. 28 machine, and I believe Charlie Bryant also left to qualify, so it's not quite over yet, but Dustin Connor looking good.
Hey, we continue to think about Dwight Nichols. So we talked about his name a little bit earlier, but Dwight Nichols, who was injured a few weeks back, continues to recover. So Dwight, if you're watching, if you're tuning in, we send well wishes, buddy. We cannot wait to have you back at the racetrack, so our thoughts and prayers are to you and your family as he continues to recover from an incident. Not here at the racetrack, it was not at the Speedway, but he's certainly trying to recover from that. So our best wishes go to him. As we see the famed 28 car, of course, the late, great Davey Allison had that paint scheme. Pretty cool look on that race car for Carl Twitty. Carl Twitty right now provisionally outside of row 4 in position number 8, 20.139 seconds. The fast lap, though, is Dustin Connor, 19.026 seconds. Can he hold on to it and take the top spot? This is the final driver to qualify, and I'm going to tell you what, if I'm a Dustin Connor, Adam, I'm going to be a little bit nervous.
Yeah, Charlie Bryant, of course, a driver in the Enduro division, multiple-time champion, now points leader in 2023. He's won the last 2 races over there. Hasn't won a U-Car race yet, but they're very, very similar, both series. With this U-Car and the Enduros, a lot of things are alike in terms of the car. And he, too, not going to have the lap we quite expected, 19.228. He's P4. So Got to imagine the track, Brian, getting a little hot and drivers finding it a little more difficult as we work towards the end of the afternoon. But yeah, the last few drivers weren't able to match the drivers from earlier.
So Dustin Connor delivers in a big way. Car 32 will roll off from the pole position. We mentioned Dustin up one position to 5th in the championship chase, searching for his first top 5. His best finish this year is a couple of 6th place efforts. So maybe tonight, Dustin Connor can not only get a top 5, but maybe a victory for car 32. Bill Aker will join him on row number 1 as Bill Aker qualified 2nd. Hayden Sheldon will roll off 3rd. Charlie Bryant 4th. Christian Keller rounds out the top 5. Tyler Borden posted the 6th fastest lap. Brent Burgess was 7th. Michael Walters 8th. 9th went to Carl Twitty, and Kyle Davis rounds out the top 10. Crystal West will roll off 11th when we drop the green flag a little bit later on this evening for this Smiley's Heating and Cooling 300. It's round 9 of the 2023 season. If you're here on the property, be sure to tune in to 100.9 FM. You'll hear the entire broadcast of tonight's race. And again, if you're tuning in on Facebook Live or YouTube, hello. We're glad you're watching great action here in the southeastern portion of the great Commonwealth of Virginia. A beautiful late June afternoon. And we hope you can hop in the car and come join us. But if for some reason you can't, tune in to Flow Racing with live coverage of the Smiley's Heating and Cooling 300 beginning at 7 o'clock p.m. or about an hour and a half from now. And again, those who are here, check out the band Southern Attitude performing on the Bush stage, that fun entertaining area located across from our refreshment stands, under the grandstands in the midway. Go check out Southern Attitude as they put on a great show here this evening. Well, Adam, we've qualified everybody but one division. One to go.
And Taylor Way Service late models lined up on the race, or on pit lane, I should say. And they've got a little bit different itinerary tonight, Brian. 75 lap races for these guys, not the traditional 50 laps. So an extra 50 laps in total, 25 to each race. Be interesting to see maybe how that shakes things up, and will anybody have anything for Connor Hall? We mentioned he's won literally everything that the late models have done here on the racetrack in 2023, whether it's 50 lap twin races, cars tour races. That 77 ends up in victory lane, and I gotta wonder, will those extra 25 laps allow somebody to work the tires and be able to save something for the end and maybe catch the 77?
I want to say hello to Cam Harris. Says, let's go Mark Wertz, car 55, as Cam Harris tunes in here on, I believe, YouTube. Thank you, Cam, for tuning in. And looking like we're going to have, again, 2 points-paying events all on the same evening. Adam documented how we're going to go an extra 50 laps longer, 25 apiece, which is going to make a difference, and it could. More opportunities to, or disaster with those extra 50 trips around the racetrack. And you want to make sure you get the setup and get it right, because conditions in race 1 will still be under the sunshine early on this evening. But that race number 2, drastically different. The Musco lighting system will be fully illuminated by the time we get ready to go race number 2. So hoping you get the right setup and strike it big so you can get 2 solid runs in. And we'll see how it all works out. But again, the weather is going to play havoc on these crew chiefs and crew members as we prepare for rounds 7 and 8 of the 2023 season. We will invert the top 8 finishers in race number 1 before we start race number 2. But this one, we're qualifying now for the first race of the Taylor Way Services late model 75 lap contest. It'll be race number 2 on your scorecard for the evening. And Adam, we're going to get a scuff lap. Then they're going to get the green flag from Shane Snyder, our chief starter here this evening. And then they'll see the white flag and checkered flag. So 2 laps, 2 opportunities to put a fast lap down. And somebody that likes to go fast, well, he's done it for the first 6 races. He's your point standings leader, and he is undefeated this year.
Yeah, and doing well on the cars tour side of things. That's Connor Hall in the 77 machine. 15.848 the first lap going on the stopwatch. And yeah, you're right. Just, I mean, so fast each and every time that car hits the racetrack. Of course, we mentioned won the cars tour race. He's run well at other racetracks, had a top 5 at North Wilkesboro, and has been absolutely on fire here at the Speedway. A little slower, lap number 2, 15.899. But how about that? First in line, he's ready to go. Just no hesitation in that 77 car.
26 years of age for Connor Hall. As you mentioned, runs the Cars Tour full-time. Currently third in the championship chase there. And of course, he won the Cars Tour race here, the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour event back earlier this month on June the 3rd. This guy was fast in practice earlier today. It's car 31, Cole Bruce on the speedway right now. Cole Bruce 13th in the championship chase. He missed the last couple of races back on June 10th, but in those opening few races, ninth place finish 3 times. That's his best here in 2023, but he was quick in practice.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. 31 showed a lot of speed in that practice session, so looking for good things out of him tonight. Right now, second on the board, 16.137. See what you can find here on a second lap. Off of turn number 4, checkered flag is waving. Falls off just a little bit, 16.165 for car 31. That'll make way for car 51. This is Ryan Matthews on the racetrack.
Ryan Matthews from Mechanicsville, Virginia. He's a Legends champion. He raced in the Cycle City Corporate Legends divisions over the years. He ready to go now with the late models. He ran really strong with the Cars Tour when they were here back earlier this month, and he's ready to do big things here tonight in car 51 as he's now in his first of 2 flyer attempts. Ryan currently tied with Mark Wirtz as they set 7th in the championship chase together. Ryan did get his best finish of the season when he came home in 2nd spot. So that was a great run in the very last event we just had. So Ryan Matthews wants to better that by 1 and pick up his first ever win in the Taylor Waste Services Late Models division.
Ryan was one of those drivers involved in that big stack-up race number 1 last week, a couple weeks ago. So good to see that car back in one piece. It looks fast, 16.067. He slots into second spot.
Of course, Connor Hall in a league of his own right now, the only driver to crack the 15-second bracket. Right now, he's more than 0.2 of a second faster than Ryan Matthews, who just laid down his 2 laps. But the lap record for car 77, 15.848 seconds. That's what everybody's shooting for now, including this driver from Chesapeake, Woody Howard, car 41. Looks like the legendary Wood Brothers paint scheme in car 21 of the NASCAR Cup Series as we watch Woody Howard, who's really running strong here in 2023. Best finishes of 4th. Get this, Adam, 4 times, putting him right now 4th in the championship
How about
chase.
that?
He likes position 4, apparently.
4s are wild. He wants that other number in his number. He wants that number 1 spot. As he got in Bojangles Bow Time qualifying a few weeks ago, he picked up the pole, I believe, the second race night this season. So definitely a lot of speed in the 41 right now, showing it 16.044. Falls off 100th lap 2. He's still fast enough for second quick.
All right, car number 12's on the speedway as Woody Howard right now is second in the championship chase, chasing Connor, or make that the second on the racetrack for Bojangles pole qualifying as everybody chases Connor Hall, including this driver is loose coming off of turn number 4. That is Nick Smith from Pocosin in the Sniper Sports Fishing sponsored race car. Nick Smith, of course, a past winner in the Hampton Heat 200. Looking to go back to Dale Lemon's victory lane here tonight. And we're sure he'd have a huge smile on his face if he's able to get that done, as Nick Smith right now is 5th in the championship chase. He's also gotten his best finish of the season. He tied his best of 3rd back on May 6th when he finished 3rd in the very last race. Of course, that was held back on June the 10th. So can Nick Smith pick it up here on lap number 2?
It falls off about a 10th, 16.357. On his second lap, 16.215, the lap of record, still 5th out of 5 drivers so far. So Nick's going to have his work cut out for him here come race time in race number 1. Right now, we're watching Chris Horton on the racetrack, car number 42, coming through turns 3 and 4.
Hey, Chris Horton is from South Mills, North Carolina. Just 15 years of age. Adam, he can drive a race car, but he cannot drive a street car.
How about that? Isn't that funny? Can't legally drive on the street, but you can drive a race car, sure. Can't drive at 35 miles an hour, but you can drive at 85 miles an hour, sure. That's so cool. Chris is a bright young man with a great future here, of course. Runs late models, and I certainly wasn't driving race cars at 15. I don't know about you.
No, I was still in go-karts by that point. But this driver's not in go-karts. He's in a full-body stock car. Talking about Chris Horton, he earned a season best finish of 12th on a couple occasions this season, looking for his first top 10, which could come tonight. For the driver sponsored by CCS Performance Carburetors and CJR Performance. Chris Horton, where did he slot in at?
P6 right now, 42 is at 16.598, so 6th fastest for the time being. Right now, Dean Shiflett is on the racetrack in the 72 machine. Mean Dean, as I like to call him.
Mean Dean from Sharburne, North Carolina, the 2005 Rookie of the Year and champion in the Pepsi Grand Stocks. Also took home the 2006 Grand Stock Championship. And you got it, Mean Dean's Automotive. And looks like Greer and Associates sponsor this driver, car 72, Dean Shiflett. Remember, they get a scuff lap to open it up. Then they'll take the green flag to start their first of 2 flyer attempts, followed by the white flag, and then the checkers will take the best of the 2 laps, or the better of the 2 laps, I should say, as Dean Shiflett sees that checkered flag wave.
Yeah, the first lap was quick, but the second lap was quicker. Mean Dean right now, P5, 16.180. 5th out of 7. Now 8 cars on the racetrack, the number 25 of Craig Eastep.
Good to see Craig Eastep behind the wheel here. Craig not able to race the last event that we just had due to mechanical issues for car 25. He has got 1 top 10 here in 2023. Got that back on May the 6th. The driver right now 14th in the championship chase. He calls Poquoson, Virginia home. That's not far at all from here as he brings that car over through turns 3 and 4 to see the white flag waving.
First lap from the 25, 7th quickest, 16.345. See what he's got on lap number 2. No doubt looking for more.
Of course, everybody right now trying to chase Connor Hall, who has just been unbelievable here in 2023. Connor Hall undefeated, trying to pick up his 7th straight victory when we drop the checkered flag for the first 75 lap feature. Connor Hall 15.848, that's the lap of record. As we see Tristan Bernelli on YouTube says, "Go Connor Hall." Certainly Connor Hall is doing it on this Commander's Cup night. And we say thank you to all of the men and women who serve or have served this great country in our armed forces. We salute you every day because of what you do, your sacrifice, your family's sacrifice. We are able to race here in Hampton, Virginia. All right, keep your eyes on this car. This is Cody Bryant, car number 08. He is running so strong in the limited late models, or the Smith Raps and Graphics Virginia Racers. Cody Bryant, 2 starts here this season for the Taylor Way Services late models. He's got a best of 14th in his first race back on June 10th. So not only is he racing the limited late models out of him, he's running the late model division, and I'd say he's doing a really good job thus far.
Yeah, just had a tough break a couple of weeks ago, was involved in that big stack up. Race number 1, unfortunately, hurt his second race, but right now, really, really quick, 16.124 on his second lap, has him P4 right now, outside of row number 2. So good, strong showing for the 08 machine. That'll make way for a guy on the other end of the spectrum. Not a rookie driver, but a longtime veteran. Danny Edwards, the 6-time champion, is down in 1 and 2.
Danny Edwards, currently 6th in the points chase right now, 32 markers behind Connor Hall. He's got a best of 3rd this season back on June the 10th. And of course, Danny did pick up a win last year. His most recent championship came back in 2018 when he collected his 6th. Of course, he's tied with his brother Greg Edwards for 6 championships. They are 1 championship shy from tying the overall record that the great race car driver Phil has, 7 championships. And of course, Danny would love to get that record-tying 7th.
Fell off about a half a tenth on lap number 2, did that 26 machine, Brian, but still P6 for the 26 outside of row 3 provisionally. How about this, from one Edwards to another 6-time champion, Greg Edwards on the racetrack.
All right, Michael Fallbush says, Connor Hall, number 77, go get him, Tiger. Matthew says hi from Gate City, Virginia, in the Tri-Cities region. He's tuning in on YouTube, and hello to everybody on YouTube and Facebook Live as you're catching live action here at the legendary Larry King Laws Langley Speedway. We're watching Bojangles pole qualifying for the premier division, the Taylor Way Services Late Models 2, 75 lap events, 150 trips around the speedway in total here this evening. It's going to be a great night at the racetrack as we watch the 21 car take the checkered flag, and a great lap for Greg Edwards.
And P2 for the 21 machine, 15.928, less than a tenth of a second off of Connor Hall's lap. That's the closest we've seen anybody get to. So can Greg get up there and give Connor a fight for this win? Both wins tonight, 75 lap races. It's going to be fun to watch. But he's been a driver to keep an eye on, Brian. Right? Talk about Connor Hall and Brendan Queen running 1-2 just about every race. Well, Greg's right there behind him running 3rd. He's 3rd in points. looking for his first win. And this is another guy that I'm keeping my eye on, Mark Wertz in 55.
The double five race car of the Speedway, Dunkin' Donuts, CorvetteParts.net. Sponsor this driver as he brings it across the stripe to complete lap number 1. He's currently tied with Ryan Matthews for 7th in the championship chase. Mark's got a best finish this year of 3rd. And remember, he's a 5-time champion here at this racetrack, most recently getting the 2020 Larry King Law Modified Championship. Of course, also runs the Modifieds here in 2023. Mark Wertz, his 2 laps are done. His fastest lap was the opening circuit when he laid down a time of 16.114 seconds, putting him 5th on the leaderboard.
We'll keep an eye on the 55 machine later on tonight. We know the veteran can save some tires and really take care of that race car over the long run, so he'll certainly be one to watch. Up next, it's car number 90, Terry Carroll on the racetrack, father of Justin Carroll, who races here and in the Craftsman Truck Series.
That is such a cool story. Dad and son racing together week in and week out. Of course, their trailers are parked side by side in the pit area. The cars are parked together, but making some great memories that they'll never forget as Terry from Williamsburg in the Carroll's Automotive entry, as he has laid down his 2 laps here, or make that one of his 2 laps, I should say, in car number 90. And right now, he's 10th quick.
Yeah, 16.210 on lap 1. Picks it up a little bit there, 16.158. Lap number 2 goes 8th quickest on his 2nd lap.
Bojangles, bow time pole qualifying right now. It's Connor Hall, the fastest, 15.848 seconds. Greg Edwards is 2nd, Woody Howard 3rd, Ryan Matthews 4th, and Mark Wertz rounds out the top 5. Just a few cars remaining, including this driver. Car number 10, Jody McCormick, is on the racetrack. Jody McCormick from Carrollton, Virginia. Sponsored by, looks like that'll be Q Daddy's Barbecue, and Cycle Specialist helps support this driver, 51 years of age. That bright-looking car, number 10, bringing it through turns 3 and 4, Jody McCormick. Lap 1 is in the books. He'll be 13th of the 14 cars thus far, 16.423 seconds. And Adam, it's a mixed bag. Most drivers got their fast lap on the opening circuit. Some got it on lap 2.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to see, Brian. We talk about drivers struggling in turns 3 and 4. Maybe you don't get it the first lap. You can find it the second lap. Jody's going to pick up on his second lap at 16.327. That slots him right now 12th out of the 14 drivers with just a couple more left to go. Watching car number 4 now on the racetrack. Here's Dwayne Shreves.
Dwayne Shreves, 16th in the championship chase. Got a best finish this year of 12th. He got that in the last outing. Driver again from Chesapeake, the Southside Energy Denver Electric sponsored race car here for the driver that is 52 years of age. Midway down the backstretch for car number 4, Dwayne Shreves, on his first of 2 laps here this afternoon. Again, they're chasing Connor Hall. Can he do something with the 77 car? Let's see where he goes.
Dwayne Shreves is going to go 14th that lap, 16.440. Going to have to pick it up here if he wants to have a shot at that pole. We'll see what the 4 car does this time by a little wiggle there through 3 and 4, back into the gas. Stays 14th, picks up some time though, 16.435 on his second lap, so he'll be 14th out of 15. And there was one driver left. Here he is, the aforementioned Justin Carroll in car number 91. Former winner here at Langley Speedway. Of course, mentioned races in the Craftsman Truck Series occasionally. Good to see him with us this week, and I believe he was trying to race Nashville last night in the Truck Series, but the weather forecast just didn't allow him to go. And you know, Brian, with a smaller team, you don't have a charter. It's tough to go out there and potentially not make the race. So they decided not to go, and we're happy that they're here. It's always great to see him and his dad Terry turning laps here and competing for wins. He is 10th on lap number 1, 16.176 in car 91.
How about that? Good lap for the driver, sponsored by Duratane, Bod RV and Marine, and Hamilton Electric helps support the driver from West Point, Virginia. Checkers are in the air. This is going to wrap up Bojangles. Bow time pole qualifying for car number 91.
Yeah, 7th quickest for Justin Carroll, 1/1000th of a second off of the 6th place lap with Cody Bryant. Just shows you how tight this division is, but it is Connor Hall leading the way, as he's done each and every week. Greg Edwards going to line up 2nd place. Woody Howard and Ryan Matthews in row 2. Row 3, Mark Wertz and Cody Bryant. Justin Carroll and Cole Bruce in row 4. Terry Carroll and Danny Edwards in row 5. Row 6 goes to Dean Shiflett and Nick Smith. Row 7, Jody McCormick, Craig Eastep, and Dwayne Shreves and Chris Horton round out your field of 16 competitors for twin 75-lap races, Brian.
So, Adam, are you surprised that we've got the 77 cars, the pole winner? How surprised are you?
Not this year, buddy. Not this year at all. Connor has been lights out quick, not only in qualifying but in the race, and I believe, like I said, even had the Cars Tour pole with all of the regional guys traveling here. So the 77 knows how to get around here in a hurry.
Is he Team Army? He indeed is. Again, it's Commanders Cup night. As we remember the late, great Louis Pastor. It's so good to have Louis' family here. His dad is going to be driving a pickup truck tonight. His mom, Julie, is here. His brother, Joey, his sister, Megan, and his granddad, Joe, are here. We thank you so much. And, of course, we've got the Army being represented by Connor Hall. Also in the Army will be Sammy Gata with the Super Streets. Team Army for the Grand Stocks, that's going to be, let's see, I'm making sure I got my stuff right here. Ethan Hartman. Looks like Army will be Bill Wallace for the pickup trucks. Team Army will be Christian Keller as we, again, continue to remember Dwight Nichols as he recovers. And then Team Army will be Jimmy Carr for the Champ Carts. Of course, we'll also have, and we'll get into this a little bit later in the broadcast, but Team Air Force is represented. Greg Edwards for the Taylor Waste Services late models will represent Team Air Force. We've got Space Force. Woody Howard will represent them. Coast Guard for the late model division, that'll be Nick Smith. Danny Edwards is Team Marines, and Ryan Matthews is Team Navy. Remember, we're looking for the best average finish of all the drivers who Justin Kern, our Director of Media Relations on the Jack Dodson's Racing Insider News with Scott Allen, the top 6 in the championship chase for putting a bucket. And Adam, Justin drew out a name of those drivers that determined which team they were going to be on. So drivers trying to get the best finishing position they possibly can to represent their branch of service. The branch of service that has the best average finish will be declared our Commanders Cup 2023 champions, and they'll get a special trophy cup, I'm told, and then the winning team will get an extra $100 bonus and 4 tickets to the racetrack. Well, that's going to do it for Bojangles Bow Time Pole Qualifying. For Adam Welbrock, I'm Brian White, hoping you'll join us here at the racetrack. Live coverage on Flow Racing beginning at 7 o'clock, or about a little more than an hour